Right, Ledgers, can everybody hear me? And what chart can you see? Good evening, everybody. How is everybody? Yes, XO, Dude, Flash, Mo, Karen, Harry, Groove, Isman. How is everybody? So once everything's clear and good. Ramadan especially, yes, it is. It's going alright, man. It's going alright. It's not too bad. It's sitting on my charts all day anyway. Fuck all. Could do with the fact though. But, yeah. Can you hear me? A Bitcoin chart, yeah? Okay. So we'll do Bitcoin. Go over that. Nothing's really happening with Bitcoin other than where I went over last week. I mean, I'm going to go with Bitcoin anyway. I'm not really looking to actively trade it. It's more the alts. But yeah, so like the video if you can before we start, and I'll get the necessities out of the way with. If you haven't already, would you mind retweeting the Twitter link? Get more viewers in. But yeah, okay. So welcome to the weekly live Bitcoin update video. Before we start, I just want to say thanks to our sponsor PrimeXBT for making this happen. You can show them some appreciation by signing up to their platform using the link in the description. If you use the code TraderSZ, you'll also get a 50% deposit bonus. Finally, just a reminder that nothing discussed today constitutes financial advice, and you should always do your own research before doing any kind of investing or trading. Okay, we got that done and over with. Okay, I'm all good, thank you, Ahmed. Gail, Spyro, T, Adrian. If I haven't mentioned your name, just loads of you. It's hard to keep up, okay? Alright, let's see if we can get 100 likes, okay? Hello, Amoeba. Get the YouTube algo thing going. Okay, so let's start with Bitcoin now. What's going on with Bitcoin? Because obviously, I'm not really actively looking to trade unless it dips really hard, or unless it's nothing else available and Bitcoin's the only thing there, then I will. The alts are, there's more action in them, okay? So, but we must go over it anyway because if Bitcoin collapses, it's still king. It will take down everything else right there. Okay. Yes, we're getting the odd ones that are doing well, but overall, I don't think there's much going on other than that. But we'll see. We'll see. So from last week, we discussed. I wasn't too sure what's gonna happen within here. Okay, I had no idea. I go okay. I mapped up a few plans. I'm not gonna repeat that. But the breakout plays were from there towards there, so I'm not going to actually repeat over that. I'd rather go over stuff that we haven't really done. But so if you want the breakdown of this all these levels, please watch the next video. Previous video. It's in there. Or we play this range here. Okay, so from there we had a target there and possibly there because that was their quarterly range high, if you remember. But that was the main target. If you broke above here, within here was scalp environment. I didn't really get much out of this, to be honest with you. Ethereum was the main play, and then this here. So now we started right, we're below here. So that says to me, well, probability wise, I am targeting towards here next. Targeting towards there and taking a trade are two different things now. Okay, so what do we do in this case? Is this just gonna blindly short it here? Now, if it was in the middle of a week, I would say it's still got juice left. Okay, I'm just a bit hesitant when it comes to the end of the week because you get the weekly wick candle to be priced in, and then so maybe we get a pullback. So let's look at a bigger picture of what's going on. Let's clean this up. What's the weekly shaping up to be? Yes, there's over 250 of you and you can't even get me 100 likes. Come on, man, it's all free for you guys. So weekly, there's nothing really. I wouldn't say bearish. Bearish within the range, yes. Okay. So weekly, if we look at it, right, this sort of looks to me big in for a deeper pullback. And if I was to look at the situation, right, if we're gonna take this as our range high, it just looks to me okay. We're trading below last week's low. Okay. We've taken out this low, but why are we not trading back above here is the question. Okay, if we're taking these stops out, so if you were to ask me where are the main stops resting, it wouldn't be here, it would be here for me. Okay, it's been such a long time since we've really taken out any stops really, if you think about it, right? It would be healthier for the market to take out these lows in my opinion. Okay, I would consider this like a little low within the range, and people are going to be taking profit. You can put on whatever FUD news you want, it doesn't matter. Markets move like this. There will always be some sort of news event behind it, always is. Bitcoin's been FUDded all the way since sub 100. Okay, Bitcoin's going nowhere, like I said before. There's always going to be a news event. This ban, I mean, India's banned it like 7 times within the past 2 weeks anyway. He's always banning it. Is it affecting it? No, no one gives a fuck either. So, you know, it doesn't matter. It's still going up, okay? But it would be healthier to get some sort of correction now. Deeper one, I mean. So, the big sign is I'm looking at this. And I'm also, and this is what's making me hesitant on some altcoins. Yes, those that are really strong, they're really going for it. Okay, and they just, if you missed them, you missed it. But yeah, so I would personally prefer a moving to here at least. At that point, then we'll see. Is it going to be a deviation back in? And then I can play it towards there. So I'm just simplifying it down before we go to the levels, okay? And then once that, and for all we know, this could be a range man for a while. Why can this not go into some sort of range like this, like drift? Why can't this drift like that for ages? It's been trending for ages. Markets consolidate longer than the trend. That could be valid as well. So, you know, you gotta be open to that. I think people are only open to either gotta go down or gotta go up. What about chop? I personally think we could go into chop phase and that's how markets work. You know, markets chop more than they trend. Okay, I think we've had a massive rally since last year. Okay, we've been rallying. I think it is overdue a chop. Okay, it doesn't mean I'm bearish. I'm very bullish this. Okay, but nothing. It can't be sustained. This cannot be sustained. Okay, so keeping that in mind. So that could mean, you know, alts take over. Okay, so or we go back into day trade environments. That's when the real, I mean, I think a lot of people would probably get screwed over by chop, not even by, you know, markets going down. It's the fact that what you will do is you can't handle the fact that it's consolidating. You'll be in the position, you'll go up, yes, I'm up, start tweeting, boom, okay, got stopped out. And this is where, you know, you do the same thing again. Oh, did you buy the dip? Anon? No, and then boom, back in again. And that's, you'll just get fucked over with the chop, okay? So what gives me an indication of, okay, if we're going into that phase, or are we going to trend? It's clear cut to me. I mean, if you go to this old chart I've got out, okay, that at what point would I trend? So this is a range I use. So remember last sessions we looked at 2 ranges we were looking at. One was the quarterly range, okay, and I got into, I mean I used 2 of them. I use different types of range for different things, okay. The quarterly one's just giving me a bigger picture, okay. Oh yes, cred is in the house. Is that the real cred? Oh shit. Sure. Oh, wrong one. I apologize, cred. I didn't know if that was the real cred or fake cred. Oh yeah, there's my boy cred. You never know, man. So many fucking imposters these days, right? How do I show them? I actually deleted that. I meant to click show. YouTube showed it as hide or show. My bad. But yeah, so anyways, the quarterly, right, we went over this. It's a quarterly low to quarterly high, quarterly range. So it's only trending, right? So right now it's proven to us we're within this here right now. So it's already going into chop phase. If you're gonna go look at individual legs, okay, then you can say, well, that's a trend on individual leg. The only time I'd say, okay, we're ready for a trend move is if we break out of above here, okay. So for now, I think we consolidate to pull back, okay, based on you know, what we're seeing here. So yeah, I think, yeah. So is that making sense so far? Is everybody with me? Okay, I'll check the Twitter later. There's some folks on this. Okay, we have a celebrity here. Cred. Everybody say hi to him. So, it's my oldest friends, my boy. So yeah, that's more or less it. So going back to this chart, right? So how do I use 2 ranges in Confluence? Okay. So before I get distracted, okay, let's focus on this. Let me get Bitcoin out of the way. Then we can throw a few jokes. Okay, I'm trying to be a bit more less pissed off vibe. People call it. I lose my temper sometimes. But you know what it is? When I'm explaining markets, right, I get serious. It's my passion, really. Okay, so I don't joke about when I'm explaining it. Afterwards, I can joke about. So don't take it personally. If I tell you to fuck off, or if I tell you that you got single digit IQ, which you probably do, don't take it personally. Okay, but yeah. Anyways, yeah. So the confluence we had is this level here. So we explained this is a range, and then we explained that is a range. Okay, so we're below here, and we are below the mid range of this previous range we were held within. Okay, The biggest sign for me that I think that we're gonna take out these range lows is this. Okay, this. So reason why I say that is because, you know, when we get deviations, all right, when we get deviation, we get deviation here of range high, which is initial February high, and then back below deviation here. This here, what right, would have been a big sign for me, technically a long trigger. Okay, right, jokes aside, let me focus back in here. So this technically would be a long trigger. Why? Because we've broken above range high, we've consolidated there and pivoted off. So, or spring, whatever, jumped off higher. That should have held for me. This technically is a bullish setup. As soon as it got back below it, that's sort of invalidated for me, making me think, hang on a minute, that is something I usually see for a top. Okay, as soon as we got back below here, that was when it was game over. That's when I didn't like it. Okay, and a few long setups that normally, see, this was the probability wise. Normally, this setup that happening above a break of a range high, after that range high has had, you know, a couple of attempts, there's no reason to come back below here. Okay, and even if it was a stop run, they should have gone back already. The fact that it's not doing that, so the way I'm looking at it for a possible short-term top to consolidation phase is because of pattern failures. So pattern failures for me on the higher time frame play a significant role. So a lot of the time, I mean, I'm not saying 100% work, but if you look at it, back test it, and you look at when technically after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attempts, and even here, you know, it deviates or, you know, displaces it back above. Why is it coming back below here? And that was the biggest sign for me. And for me, I mean, okay, this is, for me, just a small stop. The bigger stops, it makes more sense after such a trend we've had to take out these moves here. Okay, not only that, we're trading below the mid-range here. What is bullish about this? And when I say bullish about this, I'm talking about this phase here. Okay, if you were to just look at this pattern, remove the fact that you're trading this, pretend you're not trading it, pretend this is like some other market. Okay, this, there's nothing bullish about this for me. I would be selling rallies personally, at least towards here. Now, where would it make sense for me to get bullish? Well, either back above range high, okay, or deviate range low and get back above it. You want to be buying support, don't you? Is that making sense to everybody? Yeah, I'll do an FX one at some point. I haven't done. I'll do a live FX one at some point. Maybe next month. There's a few, because FX has been dead. I mean, I get the odd trade on FX, but I'm not really a big fan of FX at the moment. Don't get me wrong, there is certain trade, but you just gotta be picky. The great thing is, because I'm doing a bit more crypto, and it's not that I'm just purely crypto. No, I'm actually more FX. But recently, when FX doesn't give me something, 24 of you here, and only 159 likes. Come on, let's get to 200 likes. So yeah, so based on that, is that making sense to everybody? Why I believe, at least towards here, we're due a run towards the range lows. Yep. So it's not just based on a day, just 1 day time frame. I'm trying to get the overall picture. Deviation, it should have gone above. This phase, and that is very bearish for me. Only, I mean, when I say bearish, only bearish towards here, and then I don't know what's gonna happen here. That's when our second range unfolds, because this is the bigger one, okay? And then we're gonna see. Now, even then, right, there's no reason why we can't pull back lower. You can throw in whatever reason you want. If the market wants to go lower, it will go lower. You know, it doesn't matter. So, okay, I don't mind a deviation here. So that's why I was saying, if it gets back above here, it just makes more sense, because Bitcoin really is perfect. The only time you'll find Bitcoin respecting SR levels after it's done the big stop run. What do I mean by that? So see here, once it's done the big stop run, you would have said, oh, that's a supply area here. Once it's done the stops, then it resumes normal price action. Okay, here, you know, often overshoots. So what I'm looking for is probably an overshoot in towards January high, possibly even coming to here. This is where I don't pick the bottom. Okay, the initial one I don't. So once the spike's done and then we pull back, then I don't mind leaving limit orders in. Okay, but the first one I'm not gonna see. I mean, for all I know, so one exchange can have a wick all the way down into here. The other exchange has it here. Okay, so what I'm looking for, the ideal scenario if I wanted a long, is if it came into here, even if it tagged here, it doesn't matter. Let it do its thing, then let the deviation happen. Once the deviation happens, that's it. That's me done now. Okay, that's it done. And then I can step in. I got a clear target towards there, level to level. Even if I don't have confidence on a trending move, which is fine. You have valid reason because it's back in the range. Level to level, level to level, And then if it breaks out of here, you can start going for trending moves. Okay, that makes sense. Now for that, so that would be my long scenario. Okay, so let's get that out of the way with. Now my long scenario, if it does that, ideally what I think is going to happen is if it does fall, bounce, one more spike down, and then once it reclaims, I think that would be low, not big time low, but short term, level to level, reclaim that. Okay, reclaim, and that'll be a play towards here. Okay, and extended targets there. That would be my play. Now what do we do here is the question. Now if this was the middle week, I think that's a valid short. My hard in violation would be a clean break above here and targeting there. Now risk to reward wise, does that suit you? No. So I start off by saying, okay, where am I wrong? Has it broken the level? The minimum level has been broken. I mean, I've took a small short here myself. You know, when I tweeted BTC resistance, I don't say I'm short because every motherfucker, a lot of people gonna copy. I don't like people copying. I give subtle hints. So if you see me say that's a support level, that's a resistance level, read between the lines what I mean. Okay, especially if I've done an hour video the week beforehand, before it happened. Okay, so it's perfectly retested that. Now that is all good if it was in the middle of a week for me because I know it's got juice. But when it's hitting towards the end of the week, we're sort of pricing in the wick, aren't we? Okay, so we're around this phase now, so I don't have that much trust in it. So it could work, may not work. What I want to see is, I mean, I may regret it. I'm in a small position here, nothing big, but let's go with it. What I would like to see is when the new week starts, we have to get a stop run. So again, this is where I look for pattern failure. If I'm looking for bearish, bullish pattern, if I'm looking for something bearish, sorry, I actually want to see a bullish pattern form. Take out the stops. What does that do? That entices everybody to get back into our resistance area and then fail. Pattern failure gives me what? Invalidation. Okay, and then I'll play it towards here as my main objective, and then maybe leave someone for overextension. Does that make sense? Now, what if I don't get that is the question. Okay, because this is Sunday, I don't like taking fresh position at that this time. Well, I will prepare myself for trend continuation if I don't get that. So what do? We look at what's capping the downside here. If we look to the left, there's always going to be some sort of level capping the downside, and I believe this level is what was capping the downside towards here. It's some sort of range. It always is some sort of range. Okay, which is here. So either this can be used as a compounding opportunity or to get back in later on. So if you look to the left, well, this was a previous range high. See this here, just like here, same thing. Once we cleared that, retest. But once we clear that, that's a retest. That's just a bit of an overshoot. Okay, but once the deviation is done, it's clear. Okay, well, we got this here. Now support becomes resistance then, doesn't it? So the second play would be if it doesn't give me that. So scenario one is if it gives me that and it gets back below, that's my trigger, invalidation above here, target 1, target 2. If it doesn't give me that, then that means market's done whatever it's got to do. And the way it's holding on the daily is pretty weak. Okay, and I'll go over that in a second. Break below that, support becomes resistance, play it towards here as first objective, and me thinking and then towards here second objective. Does that make sense? So in case it does go without me, well, I'm prepared, aren't I? Which level's capping the market is here. It's capped the market here. It's a clear pivot for us. Well, I'll play it below here. So does that make sense? Okay. Let's go over the long scenarios. So where would I get long? I mean, I don't really like a long even above here. I'd have to see a clean reclaim of this level here. So that level, what is that level again? This is the midpoint between these two ranges, okay? This level here. So the way I'd look to get on board is for long. I'm not confident here because of the context. Just because I support it doesn't mean I'm going to buy it. Now some people are really good. I'm not even that good. Some people are really good. They can buy this part area here. Okay, that's you. You're better than me. I've got to see a clean reclaim. What is that reclaim? Well, if we look, okay, here. Okay, so if we reclaim back above this blue box, it's this gray level here, which is the mid-range of this, then reclaim and hold above, then that's my long. And then at that point, I'd say target 1 and target 2 into here, and then we'll see if he's got legs to go with that. And the reason why I say that is because we could easily, there's no reason why we can't do that, and then here. And that's why I'm saying that I'm happy to play it long within the range, okay, above here, target, but once it reaches that, that's still resistance. At what point would I say is breakout is above here? From the beginning of the session I said the breakout is a clean break back above here, okay. that is still back into resistance. Okay, I'm not saying it's a short or not. I have to see, let the market tell me if it's going to break out. But I'm happy to play along within these my two ranges. Okay, and if we look at the daily, I think somebody posted earlier about consecutive daily candles. With consecutive daily candles, if you look historically, right, if you find candles like this where it look like down, 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 and it's still going on, this is a slow grind down. Okay, I would be more confident if it was a big spike down. This reminds me of one of those small. This reminds me of something like this. Genuinely does, which means it can be a good thing, which means a possible low could be in soon. But it's reminding me of these consecutive down candles, and then if it's not rejecting soon and it's below all my higher time frame levels, the fact that it's below my mid range says to me I'm expecting some sort of big down flush soon, which lines up with everything else I'm saying. I could be wrong, but whenever I've seen that historically in the past, I'd be surprised if we don't get that flush. Okay, and the fact that we're still trading below previous week's low, there's nothing bullish about this just yet. Okay, and it's scalping. So yeah, that's enough on Bitcoin. I spent 20 minutes just on Bitcoin, but does that make sense? But I think it's important going over Bitcoin because it's going to affect the other markets unless you're something really strong like Luna or Sol or something. Well, obviously other markets do their own thing. Yep. Okay, so that's that Bitcoin for me. So that's both scenarios more or less. Let's go on to Ethereum. Ethereum was the main trade, okay, and I'll go over why I don't think Ethereum is done either. Obviously, if Bitcoin shits the bed, Ethereum's gonna go down as well. But I'm gonna go over this. So quickly, last week's play was here, and I said there's two scenarios. One takes out the range low, play level to level, or get back above mid range. It got back above mid range. That was your retest long. Target 1. Target 2 range high. It deviated range high, got back below, sold off. So the same thing's happening with Ethereum now. Yes, it's trending, but at the current price, it's range bound. Now, also, what I want to pay attention to is FBTC. Now, FBTC, what was the plan for FBTC? Was okay. I said if it gets above this yearly level, then what's your target towards here? Now, eventually, I believe it's going to get there, but it is not going to do this. It's going to do something like this, and this is where you're going to get fucked over. And this is where you're going to lose hope. It's bear market, but no, it's not. It's a pullback. Okay? Now, these basic chart patterns, I see loads of people post, but I have to look at it myself. It's a very, very nice basic chart pattern. Okay? This is resistance. Now, if I look at it horizontally, is there a resistance level there? Yes, there is. So, on this way there, you're going to encounter resistance level. It's not going to be one way up. Okay? This is what, if trading was so easy, we would be fucking rich. But it's it's not about entry. It's about okay, how do you position for it in the timing? So what timing, isn't it? So if you look at this key level here, okay, see that here, there's a pivot there, resistance, okay. And the reason why I'm pointing this out is the significant reaction we've had. Even on the rally up, boom, pivot, break below it, deviation, perfect retest there, sell off. Fast forward to current prices, right there, right now. So if this gets cleared, then I'm saying happy. Okay, happy days. Now, you see me draw range, high range, low, mid range. Well, I'm going to do one and I'm going to see, is this a correct range I'm looking at? So if you look at this, right, I know it looks like I'm form fitting it, but if I was to draw this horizontally, that is a deviation. Does it prove to me I'm using the right one? Perfect retest, deviation. So that says to me I'm using the right one. To further confluence that, mid range. So it's that tool, is it called pitchfork or something like that? Similar thing. Okay, so there. Okay. Now there's two ways I'm gonna look at this now. This technically is the midpoint when you're looking at it with these trend line things. Okay. So what would you be looking at if you came to range? Where would the first target? Every time it comes there, towards there, back towards there at least. Now for all we know, this could do this. I'm thinking this does that. Okay. Ultimately, even if it doesn't do the breakout, it's gotta be above here regardless, isn't it? Based on the horizontal level I've shown you. So I use them both together. Now let's throw in a bit more confluence into this. Let's look at high of the month to low of the month. So if you look at April low to April high, we're gonna have confluence two types of ranges now. Okay, so I'm doing a bit of range work. So you're gonna do this. So sometimes if I'm not confident, I will use multiple tools and when they confluence each other. Okay, so that's high of the month to low of the month. Is there a reaction at the midpoint? If I see the mid range lining up, okay, should have just done this, shouldn't I? Look at that, it lines up perfectly with this mid range as well. Okay, so this is the main consolidation that initiated the next leg up. So I think what we do get is something like this. So that's why I'm thinking this consolidates for a bit personally. Okay, I'm okay being wrong. I'm not doesn't mean I'm going to short it, but I'm going to look to short FUSD soon, and we shall go over. However, if it does smash back above here and consolidates, well, that means trend continuation. Then we continue to resume up whatever our target was, which is here. Okay, here, there, towards there. And another thing is towards month end as well. I mean, we're approaching the last couple of days of the month as well. They've got to be profit taking. We've had a big bullish candle. Okay, what would be ideal is if they cause a swing failure here for the monthly swing failure, and then next month smash it up. Okay, because everybody's gonna be looking at swing failure and missing the context. Context still suggests this is a you know, it's a break here, so that would also line up with something like this. Okay, so that's that. Hello, cuz. So yeah, does that make sense for FBTC? So I'd be cautious here. I'd be very, very cautious here personally. Ideally, what I would want to see is something like this, and then continuation up. Okay. Now let's look at FUSD now, and as to why this is still range bound. Okay. If I look at this, was there another FUSD chart I used? Yes. So we got range high. So this is April low to April high. We're above the mid. I think it's different to each feed. I might have to put a bit next feed up. Okay, but it looks to me, I mean, Bitcoin's gonna go down. I mean, I'm not comfortable with these lows. It just makes more sense, you know, to take out these lows. So I am open to being wrong on this. Okay, so if I'm right, where should the market not go? Let's make a starting point. Well, if we look above here, okay, so there's two scenarios I'm looking for. Ideally, I want to see a stop run scenario which will line up with Bitcoin. Okay, so I usually tie them together, and based on where FBTC here, I think Ethereum could have a more aggressive sell-off. Aggressive rallies have aggressive sell-offs. Okay, so get used to that. So what I'm thinking is, okay, let's break this up and say, okay, we're in are we in a weekly range? So if we look at the weekly, right, we are within last week's range. We took out last week's high. We're still within last week's range. Let's mark out last week and see what price action looks like. I'll mark out last week's high to last week's low. Where are we at within that range? Okay, and we're around the mid range. Really, what have we really done? If we look at it, it's just using the mid range as a mean level, and if you look at that mean level, is actually a pivot here. You can see that. So it deviates above it, snaps back below it, deviates above it. So just using that as a mean level now. It's not really going anywhere. Okay, so that's what it's telling me. Market can't decide. Now, context wise, okay, I would think it would go lower. So if we look at it from a cleaner chart perspective, remember when I did that towards the end? Okay, look at a clean chart perspective, go to the 4 hour, and where I would expect the market to come. I mean, it always comes back to the extreme end, doesn't it? So if we look here, I'll give you an example of what I think may happen. Okay, now this may be a bit extreme, but what I would like is a wick towards that. Now if we look here, it breaks up, it rallies up, consolidation, rallies up. Okay, and then support, so resistance becomes support, resistance becomes support, resistance becomes support within the leg until it meets some sort of higher time frame level or exhaustion. Then where does it come down into? The point of release. Now initially you would have wanted to buy there, wouldn't you? Okay, but when this happened, automatically you become into bearish mode. Why? Because you bought the top, forgetting the fact that this is around a retest. You forget the fact that normally you're looking for this to buy, but because you've been so sucked up into this, you forget, hang on a minute, this is practically normal. Similar thing here. Now with this, two things can happen. Okay, because this consolidation is within our old range, it doesn't have to meet there, so the minimum would be here. Okay, I'm thinking that hopefully if we can get one more run up here, I would love something like that. And if it starts breaking down, that'd be a shorting opportunity towards here at least, and then where the move initiated from, which was here, and then deviate back above, and then I start looking for longs there, back towards range high at least. And if it broke range high, then I could look for trend continuation. Does that make sense to everybody? So let's put it all together now. So that's the basics. So it's always good to go with the basics, you know, plan. So what could I do here? I mean, yeah, ideally I'm just gonna use the same levels from last week because those are more or less controlling the market. I had a screenshot before, but I had this. Now if I don't get it, I don't get it. We'll mark our trend continuation plays then. Okay, just like I do with Bitcoin. Now, various feeds, this consolidation is gonna be a bit different. Some of them have it lower. It doesn't really matter. Okay, I don't pay attention to every FX I do, but crypto I find, you know, there's some kind of differences within the feeds, but it doesn't matter. But in the start of the week, okay, so we can tell that this is a pivotal level, support, same from last week. I've just extended them across resistance. So support, deviation, once it gets back above, retest, you can see that mean level here. So it's doing that now, but the only thing is, I would have been short this if it wasn't for end of the week. The same pattern middle of the week has a high probability for me. Now that may mean I miss out. If I miss out, who cares? But what I'm gonna do is, okay, keep that in mind. I'm looking for a little pattern failure. Okay, we'll do the pattern failure thing again. So this is I'm saying pattern failure because people keep asking me what do you this that. So what I'm looking at is a basic, something that everybody can get. If I've given you the blueprint and if you pull your finger out and do a bit of work, you'll be able to develop this further. If you can't figure it out from a basic chart pattern, okay, of what a pattern failure is, then you're not gonna get it. You're probably not cut out for trading. It's just under that. You know, you gotta be cut from a different cloth to be cut out for trading. If those that people that go out their way, they're the ones that could be cut off. But people that, you know, think they want it handed to them, unfortunately, you're not gonna make it. Probably stick to hodling, investing. Don't look at the charts. You know, I'm trading off everybody, and that's fine. Accept your reality and move on. Okay, do something you are good at. So yeah, anyway, that would be my shorting opportunity. If Bitcoin lines up, that would be as well. Where will be the target? Well, we may get a bit of consolidation here. So I would go into, I personally think we're going to go lower, a lot lower, okay? But if you the type that likes to day trade, okay, we can do that for you as well. So target 1, level to level play. Now whether you choose to hold that or not, that's up to you, but level to level. So if it comes into here, starts bouncing, you can cut it. Why? It's the mid-range. Then what I will do is, well, if they're buying here, break below here, where's the stops resting? From there towards these key lows here, that would be a separate play. And now what I will do is time with Bitcoin. So remember that SR level I mentioned on Bitcoin? This would approximately line up with that, I reckon. Okay? And if that's the case, then you got two correlated pairs or majors confluencing each other, target 1 and then target 2 as a separate play. Does that make sense? Yep. Now where am I wrong? Where would I say I'm wrong? Okay, I will accept the fact that, okay, if we get back above here, so this is the key level that's capping the market right now. So we've got a range high here, but initially that was the high, that was a deviation, that was a deviation. So if we start trading back above here and start consolidating here, that consolidation and not rejecting back down says to me that the market is ready to make the next leg higher. By that point, let's see if FBTC is above the level I mentioned as well. If so, that range high, which is a monthly high as well, is then going to be used as a pivot to long, and then we start trending higher. 2770 next, and then we can start drawing our fib extension targets. If this is indeed the low, then we got the 127.2. That's around, lies in around here, 2770 to 2800, and then the 3k level after that. Okay, is that making sense to everybody? So at that point, I'd say get mega bullish. Now, another the way what I would like to get bullish is if you can come all the way back down into here. This is where I'll get mega bullish. Okay, so if you could deviate into here, okay, and this something like this is not off the cards. I don't know why people saying, oh, that's too deep. Why is it too deep? It's too deep because your stop loss is there. That's why people only say it's too deep because the stop loss is just a bit before that. That's the only reason you're saying it. Okay, so if it was to come back down towards here, I've started to look for longs here. In violation would be a clean break below here. Or if you want more confirmation, let it get back above the range low. Let it form a deviation. You can either play it from there or each level it breaks above. So if you need double confirmation, well, that's another level to reclaim. So as each level gets reclaimed, you can either use the more confluence or higher probability, or there, it's up to you. But by that point, if it does that, that's the bigger deviation done. So there's two deviation. One is below the range low marked out. The other is below here. If you want a double deviation or bigger, then it's up to you. It just depends on how confident you feel on the setup. Okay. So yeah, I this is where I'm looking for a big longing opportunity, and then we'll think we go towards there. Okay. That will be my. Or if it doesn't give me that, then like I said to you here, this is the consolidation area here. So if we get consolidation here in the blue box and then breakout, then that's my longs there as well. Okay, everybody clear with that? And that's about it for F. I'm gonna do Luna. Somebody requested Luna, so looking at Luna, I mean, it's been a strong pair. I don't know what the fuck this is. I remember buying a spot back ages ago, and I completely forgot about it. It wasn't that big anyway. But yeah, damn. So I'm gonna cover this and we'll call it a day. The main thing was Bitcoin. I may do one more. So after this, let me know which one you like. Okay. So let's bring Luna down. What range are we trading within? Okay, so I want to. The main thing is going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum. The rest is just side. I mainly just trade Bitcoin. The rest are just spot bags for me. I don't really. I mean, how many pairs is somebody? I can't physically manage to do that. But yeah, the rest is spot. So yeah. Anyways, let's do that. Where do we come into? So do that. Yeah, well, we might do XRP actually. I'll do one XRP. I'll do XRP BTC. So we're coming to the mid range. Okay. Now, is it broken out yet? No. So you can do this neatly yourselves. That's the midpoint done. Okay. So we are within last month's range. So what's the breakout now? Okay, let's do. We do the BTC pairs, then I'll do the USD pair. So we got this capping it, and then we got this capping the downside. Okay. So this is still running to resistance. So if this was like a deviation here, what would be a long scenario is, so there we go, we came into this, we deviated it, and then that would be technically have been your long in towards there. I'm just working backwards, okay, hindsight. Now for trending moves, okay, now this could be a double top. There's no reason why this can't be a double top. Okay, maybe something like this. I'm not saying it is fucking, let's turn mark shit out when that's not there. Everybody's gonna get FUD. So we get that high to this low. I want to mark an objective. I'll do this. Yes, I will get to the USD pairing. Somebody's asking me. YouTube keeps blocking it. The comment. Probably because YouTube knows you're a prick. But anyways, those are two extended targets levels. Okay. So what I would want to see some sort of breakout. So if you look at the breakout, previous breakout, how does a breakout happen? Or what does a breakout look like? Always refer to what does a breakout look like. Okay, if you handle that, what does a breakout look like, then you know how to tackle it. So one sort of breakout is here is when you always give some sort of retest. Okay, so if it does this, ideally what I would like to see is some sort of consolidation. Okay, maybe even come back into here, and then if it comes back there and holds, then that's your breakout play. Okay, otherwise what I would be looking for, see if you can come back down, and then what I would do is say this came down to here, and then you know we got FBTC coming to support level and some other alt BTC comes into support level. This could be, wait for your confirmation, and then you could just play it as a range back in towards range high, and then a separate trade would be the breakout, break above, hold above there. Now let's go to the USD pair for this. Okay, and then I'll do XRP. Same thing again. Let's start from the beginning. Okay, where are we at? It's been a monster move, hasn't it? There's like, this is one of those where there's like nobody really spoke about it until it got to like 20. Okay, it's funny, isn't it? Nobody wants to speak about it here, but when it gets to 20, everybody wants to speak about it. I'm one of them. I can't say much. I don't know what the fuck this is myself. So yeah, same exact thing again. So now this isn't able to go higher. I mean, I don't know, man. I just get that toppy feeling when I see this. It's either top feeling or it's a consolidation feeling. Okay, I think it's either these two. It's either this is either top or it's gonna do this. Okay, so I'm happy to just play the range. So we get the mid range out. Okay, I'm happy to just play range bound until it lets me trend. Now this is probably more for active traders. If you're hodling, this is probably not for you. Okay, it is what it is. Deal with it. But what we do is get the blue box out. This is how we approach a range. Well, I do anyway. That's that. That's my deviation area. This is my range low. Okay, there. Now we're at range. I don't want to long it here, but if it was to come back, say, into there, and we'll time it with, you know, Luna BTC and held. But as long as we don't make a clean break below mid range, that's target one. Extended target there. Okay. So that was how I'd look to play it. The breakout play would be, well, let's mark out targets for it. Not much I can do, to be honest with you, other than use for extension like this. That's an objective. That's an objective. Let's do that in different colors, so it stands out. And I don't know where the next target is. Where is the 200% lie? 33. Okay, so get rid of that. Let's start play one, and then play it till it doesn't work. And actually, I might margin trade this. If it consolidates here, just like FBT ASUSD I showed, okay, and doesn't deviate, but then breaks back above this, that means market's ready to trend continue. I will show an example of that, and then these are the objectives along the way. Okay, now what's that trend continuation plan? Watch this, what I've just showed you guys here. The deviation area marked out. Okay, see that there? That's the deviation area. Deviation, once it makes a clean break above there. So when I say consolidation here, that's the consolidation here. When I say the breakout, retest. Ah, my pen's fucking thing bobbed. That's the breakout, retest. You get the picture what I'm trying to get at, okay? Does that make sense? So I'm not going to show it. I'll wait for the pullback. If it gives me the pullback, okay, then I'll look for a longing. Or if I don't like it, whatever reason, see this here? That is what I'm looking for down here to play the continuation. Again, it depends on what everything else is doing as well. If Bitcoin takes a shit, then okay, hold your horses. All bets are off. Okay, and let's do XRP BTC. Go on then. I'll put it there. No, I'm not actually hungry. I'm just fucking want a fag. Yes. Give me a little water and a fag, and that's it. We're set. So XRP BTC. I really like XRP BTC, to be honest. I'm gonna look for the feed I had. So this, right? I've been talking about this for a while. I don't care what you think about this, right? This is getting the retest phase in now. Okay. Now, like I said to you before, what is the breakout phase? The breakout, trend continuation. So we were speaking about it here, and what was my target there? Here, my target. And since then, XRP's come down in towards pullback phase. At what point would I believe the breakout is going to be? But if you look, right, what I've highlighted here is it's a basic thing. Okay, let's do this. Let's break it down basics. Sometimes too many levels make confuse people, but for me it's necessary because each level has its significant role. But if we look again, this is where the main concentration of price is. Focus. That's a deviation. I try to deviate there, but then trend lower. That's a deviation. Keep it simple. Break above here. That's when we should start trending towards this SR level here. And that's why I've got those dotted lines there, which make that up. And these are just extra fancy stuff, isn't it? You can see, okay, there and then there. So right now we're retesting this. So can XRP do its own thing? I mean, sometimes it's obviously a few of the times it's done its own thing. But if I was to show this on its own merit, is BTC crap in the bed? Please tell me it is. It'll make me happy. Yeah. Go on, just shit the bed. But yeah. Yeah, so obviously if Bitcoin shit in the bed, I don't really want to be involved into in many of these. Go on Bitcoin. So what I'll be looking for is on its own merit. Okay, let the shit happen. So what I would be doing if Bitcoin hits the drops, the one scenario could be okay, swing failure this and deviate back above, and then we could play it towards here. Now let's look at it from two perspectives. Now let's draw a range out for this leg alone. If I look at this range alone, okay. This low to this high, that's my mid-range, right? That's my mid-range. So what is the easy play for with what I've got to work with? Okay, with what I've got to work with, the breakout play is above it. So whatever happened, say whatever instance you missed any setup around here, wait for this. Once that happens, then that's your breakout play. Always ready for you if ever it happened, okay? Sometimes we can mark out the pullback setup, it doesn't happen. That's ready for us regardless. So at least we know at the back of our minds, that's one setup ready for us, okay? Now, the pullback play, how deep could it go? Well, if Bitcoin shits the bed, what I'll be looking for is to smash into there. That's a deviation. They wait for the deviation below mid-range. Once it reclaims the mid-range, and that can start going towards there as objective. That's my trigger then. Okay? And if it reclaims that, then towards here, and the separate play would be what I've marked out towards there. That makes sense? So hopefully it does do that. And if it does do that, then it gets back above. Then we can start playing. Yeah, from there. And XRP USD probably line up the same as well. Just look at this, look at that, compare them both together, you're done. I'd rather look at the XRP BTC base because then I know which one's going to trend. Does that make sense to everybody? So that's that. Okay, I'm more or less done now. Okay, and I'll catch you guys soon. Bye bye. Oh yeah, before I do, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, and yeah, that's about it. My feed's frozen now, so I'm not sure. Can you guys still hear me? For some reason, my feed is frozen. Are we back? I do apologize. I don't know what happened. I think it's my OBS freezing on me. But yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel, use the link in the description. Okay, support PrimeXBT. They help me. They sponsored this show. Okay, so to show appreciation, the least you can do is just click the link in the description. Check them out at least. Okay, so yeah, if you want it to happen, and I've got a free Telegram in the description. Okay, if you look through the description, you see my link to a free Telegram channel. But yeah, take care, enjoy the rest of your week. Okay, let's smash it. Okay, bye bye.